Right, 5 May 2024, and as usual on a Sunday, I do not start broadcasting until between 6 and 7 o'clock. And many of you have been asking me, where am I? I don't start at 5 a.m. on a Sunday, and I've even had some number of calls. So, guys, you must understand that on Sundays I start late. Do not be worried. I'm here by 2 a.m. That is the time when we start working here at Gambakwe Media. So I'll be sitting here watching your comments and laughing. And some of you will be calling me and saying, Gambakwe, why are you not starting? So I have started, and today we've got a massive number of stories. So let's start with Apostle Talent Chwienga. I know all of you love Apostle Talent Chwienga. He is one of the people that started criticizing Mnangagwa when most of us did not see what was wrong with Mnangagwa. And even people in the opposition, they were still supporting Mnangagwa at the time when Apostle Talent Chwienga was saying to us, Mnangagwa is a disaster and he's going to cause so many problems in Zimbabwe. So I want to show you his new wife, and she is Vanessa Nyasha. She is around 20 years old. So according to information that I've got, I'm going to share with you some photos. So Vanessa Nyasha was based in Zimbabwe. She is very, very young, and this is her dad. I do not know the names of these people, the surnames, but I know the people, and I know I have the pictures. So this is the father of Vanessa. So that is Vanessa here, who is the new wife of Apostle Talent Chwienga. And from pictures that I've seen, she seems to have traveled recently. And these are the pictures of her that I've received. We are awaiting the official announcement by Apostle Chwienga himself. And this was her recently when she was at school. She's quite small. She's quite young. She is not a person of like the previous wife. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play for you a video from Gambakwe that we did with Dr. Ubed Mtoko a few years ago, where we looked at the ex-wife or the late wife of Apostle Chwienga. So this is the young wife, the new wife. And the pictures have been circulating, but now we've got more pictures. As I said to you, for the first time, I'm revealing to you the wife of Apostle Talent Chwienga. I don't know where he's currently based, but my understanding is that he recently traveled to South Africa. That is in 2023. And Zimbabwe intelligence actually tracked him down here to South Africa. I don't know why they're looking for him so badly, but you know that there was an accident which made him leave Zimbabwe, where a Zimbabwe intelligence agent, according to him, according to Apostle Chwienga, a Zimbabwe intelligence agent went onto the wrong side of the road, trying to cause him a head-on collision. So this is the young wife, as I'm saying, the new wife, Vanessa Nyasha. And if you Google online, you will see that these pictures have started coming out. And as I said to you, I've got exclusive pictures here of the young wife, Vanessa Nyasha, who is in her 20s. And that is her father, who is a member of the church. And she was seen here in various pictures. I don't know where these pictures come from. I just received pictures. So one day I'll just wake up and I find pictures in my inbox and I share them with you. So this is the young wife, very young, around 20 something, 21, 22. That is how old she is. And I want to now take you through to the video that we did about 5 years ago, which shows the previous wife. So I want you to quickly look at his previous wife.
Mrs. Rejoice Jerina Chwienga. This is a short biography of the late Mrs. Rejoice Jerina Chwienga, the late wife of Apostle T.F. Chwienga. She was a servant of God, serving God alongside her husband at Apostle Talent Chwienga Ministries. Mrs. Rejoice Jerina Chwienga unfortunately lost her life in a road crash on the 12th of June 2019. She had been traveling with her husband and 2 other church members from a crusade in South Africa. She sustained severe head injuries and died on the spot together with a fellow female passenger. The 3rd passenger and churchmate passed on arrival at the hospital. At the time of her death, Mrs. Rejoice Jerina Chwienga was aged 28 years. The accident happened about 50 kilometers north of Masvingo, near Chatsworth turnoff at the 80-kilometer peg along the Harare-Masvingo Highway on the afternoon of Wednesday, 12th of June 2019. Her husband, Apostle Talent Chwienga, aged 34 years, sustained head injuries and was complaining of general body pains. He is in a serious condition and is admitted at Makurira Memorial Clinic in Masvingo. She left behind 2 young children. May Mrs. Rejoice Nyasha Chwienga's soul rest in peace.
Right, so I hope that you get a clear understanding of the late wife of Apostle Talent Chwienga. You also got information that he is about 39 years old. When his wife died, he was 34 years old and she was 28. And his new wife, Nyasha Vanessa Nyasha, and I do not know the surname, is aged around 20 or 21 or 22, somewhere there. So there is an age gap, approximate age gap between Apostle Talent Chwienga and the new wife, Vanessa Nyasha here. She is very young, and I understand that she's a member of the church, and I guess this is actually a good thing that Apostle Talent Chwienga now has a wife. He has someone to take care of him, and the family and the church would probably be very excited with this news. So I'll upload these pictures on Gambakwe.com after I finish this. These are exclusive pictures that I receive from anonymous sources. So this is the new wife, around 20, and she was based in Zimbabwe, where she was at school before she then moved to South Africa. I think that was last year, and we hope to get a clear explanation or maybe some news from Apostle Talent Chwienga on what is happening. Are they going to have a public wedding? But given the security situation around Apostle Talent Chwienga, that may not happen because we know that Zimbabwe intelligence are hunting for Apostle Chwienga. They've been doing so for a long time. When he came down here last year, my sources say Zimbabwe intelligence actually came down looking for him here in South Africa, and he had to leave very, very quickly. They also are looking for him all over the world because of the death of that agent. Apostle Chwienga said it's an agent. So you can go to Gambakwe.com and you can Google Apostle Chwienga names agent in his head-on collision. So the head-on collision happened in Harare just before or just after Norton. And this set out all this chain of events that resulted in Apostle Chwienga having to leave Zimbabwe. Now I want to go through some news. We've got a massive amount of news happening, starting with the Mnangagwa family. The Mnangagwa family went and had a tombstone unveiling. So that is for the son of Sean Mnangagwa, who died 2 years ago. So they had the unveiling there, and there was quite a drama over there. You will see that they were using it as a rally. So I found that very odd that they would use that as a rally. So I want to take you to Gambakwe.com to show you Nyasha Mnangagwa. That is the son of Sean Mnangagwa. If you Google Nyasha Mnangagwa, you see that he died 2 years ago, and the family had an unveiling today. In fact, it was yesterday, and this is the picture of Nyasha Mnangagwa here. We shared with you this picture some time ago. So that is the unveiling that took place of the young man, or the young son of Sean Mnangagwa, who passed away after an incident at the house, at State House, during dinner. I think the young son of Sean choked on something and passed away suddenly. So this is something that you can go and look at Gambakwe.com. You'll find all the details there of what happened. But in terms of what happened there dramatically, Owen Mudangube chanted the slogan 2030 Mnangagwa Wanega Ripo, and I'll show you him chanting the slogan over there.
2030 Mnangagwa Wanega Ripo.
Right, so what is happening with that is that Sengezo Chabangu and Mnangagwa have started negotiations, and the plan is to eventually change the constitution so that Mnangagwa can be in office until 2030. Mnangagwa, through the Minister of Justice, has already started the process of releasing $5 million to Sengezo Chawangu. You can go and look at that story in the Standard newspaper. And the fight is now between Promise Mkwananzi and Sengezo Chawangu over the $5 million, which was supposed to be released to the CCC. And Mnangagwa has chosen to go with Sengezo Chawangu. So the money is going over there and the negotiations have started. You also realize that in terms of what they're planning to do is to bypass Nelson Chamisa. And I've spoken about this. So let me share with you some more pictures from the Mnangagwa family unveiling. So this was Owen Muda here, and also the twins, Sean and Collins. And as I mentioned, these two are not ready to be president. So there's no one in the Mnangagwa family who is ready to take over from Mnangagwa as a president. Sean and Collins, they lack the necessary experience, and they do not have it in their abilities right now to take over and outdo General Chiwenga. I know Oxley Mnangagwa has been trying to get one of these sons. So that is between Emerson Jr., Collins, and Sean. She wanted one of them to be president, and she has been going on various campaigns around the country. But that has failed, and she has lost steam. Oxley Mnangagwa has given up. She's no longer going to be pushing for any of these two to become president because they are just not yet that yet. Vachiri Ndumure, they are still young, very young, too young to go up against General Chiwenga. It won't work. It will never work. So Mnangagwa, what he's going to do now is to try to be president until 2030 through a deal with Sengezo Chawangu. So these are pictures, and you can see that there are a lot of people here who attended, but mostly these are struggling villagers who probably came for lunch at this place, at the Mnangagwa family home. I'm going to go deeper into what I see is happening to Mnangagwa. There is a clear problem with Mnangagwa, and I believe that Mnangagwa is run out of money. I believe that he's struggling. That is why he's trying to stay in office for so long. And that is why he's getting all the members of his family involved in government business. I believe that Mnangagwa has run out of cash. That is my belief, that Mnangagwa is, if he gets out of office now, something has happened to his sources of cash. And that is why you see Mnangagwa doing odd and unexplainable things, like standing around with Anawikino and those Indian guys. You saw the Indian guys who were standing with Mnangagwa here. And I think Mnangagwa is currently at his weakest. He is not able to fund his lifestyle, his usual sources of income. Like if you look at Mutapa, that is where they were trying to make money. That thing is collapsing. On Friday, the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange delisted Bindura Nickel copper mine because Trojan nickel mine is collapsing. So already one of the companies in Mutapa has collapsed, and we'll probably see a delisting of the Bindura nickel copper mine because we don't know when they're going to come back. So despite all the attempts that Mnangagwa is making, things are falling apart around him, and he is taking the country down with him, with the ZIG. Chizig, it's in trouble. No one wants the ZIG. They are currently planning to send police to schools to force schools to take the ZIG. So from Monday, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe and the police are going to be visiting schools to force schools to take the ZIG. This is a bad situation that is developing. The taxi drivers are refusing to take the ZIG. They don't want the ZIG. No one wants it. The government of Zimbabwe doesn't take the ZIG. They don't want to get payment in the ZIG. Fuel suppliers don't want the ZIG. No one wants to take the ZIG. And as the stock exchange starts pushing up, the ZIG is going to be in ample supply. They don't have to print. It's going to come from the stock exchange. It's going to come from the phantom balances that have been put in the market by banks. Banks have corruptly put into the market billions and billions of ZIG that they are just waiting to release at the right time through the swipe machines. You don't know how much is in the eco cash. And eventually, as the rate starts to collapse, so the current rate that is being used by schools is 1:23. So if you go to any school or any business, they're currently using a rate of 1:23. So what is going to happen is Chizig is going to collapse parabolically. They're going to be forced to print, and before the end of this year, everything's going to be a mess. And the day that the Zig goes to zero, so that very day, Mnangagwa achamanyiswa nevanhu Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, the people will never want to see Mnangagwa and his family again, because the Zig is his last attempt. The government of Mnangagwa was supposed to collapse last month. He did try to buy time, but everything is going to collapse very, very soon. And I believe that Mnangagwa is run out of cash. I believe that his family is going to be struggling very, very soon. So I'll go into detail during the week. I want to find some pictures to support what I'm saying here. When I looked at his home, I saw that Mnangagwa is actually back where he started. Remember that time when he was thrown out of Zimbabwe? That is where Mnangagwa is right now. So let's look at other news very quickly. And we want to look at also people like Killer Zivu. Killer Zivu is definitely going to be fired from ZANU-PF again. He was recently readmitted. And here yesterday he tweeted that he lost $1.5 million last time. Now with the Zig coming, ndamboenda kumvura kundofungisisa nezvazvo. So even people in ZANU-PF are fed up of what's happening. If you saw what happened to the military this week, the food that they're eating in the military, it's embarrassing. The plate of food that is being served to soldiers is some cabbage, salt, and a piece of white maize meal. That is what they're eating. I'm going to show you that picture. I'm going to put it on Gambakwe.com. It's embarrassing. Everything's falling apart around Mnangagwa. And people around him also realize, and people are going to act very, very soon. We cannot have this situation that is there continuously, where the currency keeps falling. And when they fall, they change again, and they come and they change again. So that is what is happening in Zimbabwe. In other news, Zimplats is struggling, and the CEO there, Alexander, has revealed that they're going to retrench employees. So the economy is screaming because of the behavior of Mnangagwa and his advisors. They are failing to do the right thing, which is to go into dialogue. The solution that we need in Zimbabwe is a dialogue. And if we don't have a dialogue, Mnangagwa achamanyiswa nevanhu. That is what you're going to see before the end of December. The situation is at crisis point. That is where we are. Then Hubert Angel has introduced a new ambulance service where you pay $1 a month, and it's called the Discovery Ambulance Service. You can Google it on Facebook. You'll see that. And then let's go into sports. Quickly into sports. The league is looking like this. So Highlanders is now at number 2. They've only played 9 matches. They're playing again today. And then we've got FC Platinum. So let me remove the banner there so that you can see. I'll also upload this on Gambakwe.com. Dynamos is still at the center. And then the Blaue teams are doing quite well. Chicken Inn, Simba Bora is over there, Victor Minerals, and Ngezi Platinum. Yada lost yesterday, and Kamabiliat was given a red card. Then Areno Movers is at number almost second last. And speaking of Areno Movers, there is a guy called Baker Mahi. This one here, he collapsed and died at his spares shop in Bulawayo. He was a big supporter of Highlanders, and also he was in the board of Arena Movers. So he died yesterday. He just collapsed and died. And he's one of the guys that was looking to become the Highlanders, I think, board chair or somewhere over there. And then in terms of ZIFA, we have got 7 people that want to be ZIFA chairperson. And these 7 include Walter Magaya, Charles Mabika, Twain Piri, Brighton Ushendibaba, Marshall Gore, Alois Bunjira, and Scott Sakupanya. These are the people that are hoping to become ZIFA chairperson. And currently, ZIFA is being managed by what is called the ZIFA Normalization Committee. So let's recap, and then we'll go to the comments. Today I've got very few comments. and then we'll see if any of the newspapers is published. So we want to start with the new wife of Apostle Talent Chwienga. Here, Vanessa Nyasha. She is around 20. My understanding is that she's around 23, somewhere there. She is the new wife of Apostle Talent Chwienga, and we are hoping to get more information. She recently finished school, so I've got some school pictures of her. I've got pictures of her with church members, and I've got pictures of her traveling. She probably traveled from Zimbabwe to South Africa before going where Apostle Chwienga is, where I do not know. I do not know where he is. And then this is the father of Vanessa Nyasha, the young wife of Apostle Chwienga. And I think this is a good thing that Apostle Talent Chwienga now has a wife. We're just awaiting to see if he's going to reveal the details or if they're going to have a marriage, a public marriage. And I've also shown you details of the late wife of Apostle Chwienga. You can Google the details. On Gambakwe, we've got everything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to download the video of her speaking, the ex-wife of, or the late wife of Apostle Chwienga. Then I'll put it on our TikTok. So if you check out in the next hour, you will see her speaking. This was a massive story when it happened. And Apostle Chwienga is someone that is very brave, and he'll go down in history as the one person who stood up against Mnangagwa when no one else could stand up against Mnangagwa. And as we now watch the post-Mnangagwa era, we are in the post-Mnangagwa era. Mnangagwa's rule is coming to an end, and it's going to come into a sudden and unexpected end. You're going to wake up one morning and Mnangagwa will not be there because the economy in Zimbabwe has collapsed. Everything that Mnangagwa has tried is failing, and the young twins, Collins and Sean, are not ready to take over. Kuda is not ready to take over. Emerson Jr. is not ready to take over. So that's why you see that Auxilia Mnangagwa is given up. She's thrown up her hands and she has quit. She's no longer going to be pushing for the twins to be president. And that is why Mnangagwa is pushing to go up to 2030. And it won't work. It won't happen. You will see things that you have never seen within the next few weeks because the ZIG has started collapsing. So it's at 23 now. It will never go back. Yesterday, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe had to travel around with the ZANU PF to campaign for the ZIG. They're using promises and threats to support the ZIG. And on Monday, they'll start going to schools to arrest headmasters who are refusing to take the ZIG. No one is taking the ZIG. And when someone takes the ZIG, they're taking it at the rate of 1:23. And that's a big shame for a new currency that is backed by nothing. They say it's backed by gold, but the only thing backing the ZIG is nothing. And you will see what happens. Mr. Strong ZIG is going to become Mr. Weak ZIG or Mr. Zignal. That is what is going to happen very, very soon. So I want to look at the comment. Mr. Mkoma Washington saying, "Good morning, Gambakwe. Is ZIG allowed to buy fuel?" No, ZIG is not allowed to buy fuel because ZIG is not real. ZIG is fake. It's fake money. And the banks are creating billions and billions of fake ZIG right now. The way they create fake ZIG is to go into the balances before the Zimbabwe dollar was changed to the ZIG. They just went there and created fake ZIG, which they are swiping on the black market. So the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe does not have capacity to audit. I've been saying this for the whole week. Ask the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe how much money was in the banks before the ZIG, how much money is in the banks after the ZIG. They don't know. They've got no capacity to check it. And the banks know that. So they've created massive amount of balances. Then they've given swipe machines to people to go on the street and change that ZIG by swiping it. And they collect the dollars. And the ZIG is going to collapse in a sad way. Similarly, the stock exchange. Once they change that money, that ZIG, they're going to go to the stock exchange and buy shares there. And then they're going to launder that money in a vicious cycle that will result in a collapse, a further collapse of the ZIG. And you won't see the ZIG again. By December, the ZIG will be gone. Watch this space. Mnangagwa Arkuraya Vanu Nenzara. We even have a new song. I'm going to be playing you the new song. Mnangagwa Arkuraya Vanu Nenzara very, very soon. We want to make this a popular slogan. Mnangagwa says no one will fall hungry. People are dropping dead right now of hunger. in the raw areas. The soldiers are eating a little piece of meat, sorry, a little piece of pap or maize with the cabbage, which I'm going to upload for you very, very soon. Things are terrible under Mnangagwa. Now, let's go to another comment. Gambakwe, it's unfortunate that you have preference among the audience that makes you feel to take up other suggestions. All the same, I still insist to help Zimbabwe to rise against Mnangagwa. No, I don't have any preferences. I just have to read these comments quickly. Gambakwe, is Chwienga's new wife a virgin? Says Joano Paredza. I hope so. Although it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't bother me. So let me tell you a secret, guys, about women. And listen very, very carefully, because I normally don't talk about such things. Powerful guys don't care about such things. Only people who care about such things are poor people. that is why you see someone who's thinking about if a girl is a virgin or not. He's like a poor person most of the time. So don't worry about it. It doesn't bother. You will do repo. So I do what you need to do that time. Don't worry about it. You understand? You get it? Then Mkoma Innocent says, ED is losing grip every day. So Zukita negotiating na chabangu. Kutambiza nguva. Yes, Mkoma Innocent. Let me tell you what is going to happen. The military and ZANU-PF, they are going to play a big role in what is going to happen. We're going to have the next 10 years of massive unrest and instability in Zimbabwe. Because first, ZANU-PF has to sort themselves out. Eventually, the military is going to step in. And then we're going to have a transitional system. Then we're going to have a new government. Except if Chamisa does what needs to be done, which is to lead people into the street during the SADC conference. So the SADC summit in Zimbabwe is the last opportunity to get rid of ZANU-PF without the military intervention. Because when SADC is in Zimbabwe, they are not going to be able to do anything. So that period in August when SADC is in Zimbabwe, that is the last chance to get rid of ZANU-PF through mass action. So mass action is possible during that time when SADC is here. And then Mkoma say, no, Gaba, we don't need dialogue. It will never produce any workable results. What you need is fresh elections. I'm only saying what Chamisa is saying. Chamisa wants a dialogue. And I'm not talking my own thing here. Chamisa, what he wants right now is a dialogue. So I believe what Chamisa wants is correct. I would personally go for mass action. If there's mass action, Chamisa will be president the next day. There's no need for fresh election because he won the election. And so mass action is the way to go. And then you always make sense, Gambakwe. I believe everything you say. Thank you very much. And I want anyone aninaro about Nyenda Taura Ema Virgins. I want them aninaro. I want them to say to me, because this is not important to me actually, and to many other people. But let's go back to the young wife of Apostle Chwienga. I really want to share these pictures with you again. Vanessa Nyasha, she is the wife of Apostle Talent Chwienga, and this is her father. So I'll upload these pictures very, very soon. Then in South Africa, I had forgotten to give you South Africa update. Shell is moving out of South Africa. So BP Shell is a big company with 500 service stations in South Africa. They're pulling out of the country. Similarly, BHP and Anglo are going to deal. One of them is also pulling out of South Africa. The reasons with people are not certain what will happen when Jacob Zuma becomes president again. So big multinational companies are leaving the country, and there is a dispute with the local partners called Tebe Partners, Tebe Finance. So what is the value of BHP, sort of BP Shell? That is the dispute. That is you can go and look at that story in the Sunday Times newspaper. So Oil Giant Shell is leaving South Africa after operating the country since 1902. The local partner Tebe Investments is claiming that they are owed 3.7 billion rands as part of their share of the sale of assets. And then this deal comes after BHP has announced that they're buying Anglo-American assets, but they won't take the South African assets. So that is what is happening in South Africa. And so I hope that I've given you enough coverage. Let's look if the Herald, the Sunday Mail newspaper, has published. So I want to quickly look if the Sunday Mail newspaper is published. The Sunday News has published, but they are quite thin. So I normally want to look at what is in the Sunday Mail newspaper. I know most of you live out of Harare, and you won't be able to see this newspaper until quite late. So the Sunday Mail newspaper has not published. The Standard newspaper has published. So if you can go and look at the Standard newspaper, they've published, and they are leading with, let's see what story the Standard newspaper is leading. Standard Zimbabwe. Wikino, right? They're leading with Wikino. They're saying ZANU-PF bigwigs sweat over Chivayo. So you can go and look at the story. It's in the the Standard newspaper. But I think Chivayo is no one. Chivayo is going to end up in jail. I explained to you that Chivayo is going to end up in jail if he doesn't do what I am telling him to do. So that is the heading in the Standard newspaper. ZANU-PF bigwigs sweat over Chivayo. Chivayo is no one. Chivayo has got no influence. The only place that Chivayo is going to end up is in jail if he doesn't do what I told him or what he needs to do. He needs to call me to know what to do. Handing over cars from Mnangagwa won't work. It's not going to protect him from what is coming. So I think we've covered everything. And as usual, please, guys, you must know that on a Sunday, I shoot between 6 and 7. I do not come at 5 a.m. So you can imagine, I was sitting here since 2, right? How many guys have called me to say, Gambakwe, what's happening? Why are you not live at 5? 5 is between Monday and Saturday. That is the time when we broadcast at 5 a.m. And also, please support Dr. Clarence. We've got a lot of work that he's doing on Gambakwe.com while we are building his channel. And guys who want to support Dr. Clarence financially, you can call me. We've got a situation that when he came back from the raw areas where he had gone, he found that his house has been robbed. So Dr. Clarence currently has no furniture. He's got his house is like basically bare, and we're trying to raise up his channel because he went out of his house and some agents came into his house. That was late in December, and they went into his computer and deleted every video that he had and make it private and change the password. So he now has no channel, and we're trying to get him back on his feet. So if you need to support Dr. Clarence with any amount, then we can set him up. That is my number there. You can WhatsApp and we can sort it out. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and a good day.